when I look at what you might be able to do, if it's Kevon, Kuminga, and GP2 out, if it's Kobe White and DeAnthony Melton coming off an ACL, and it's a 39-year-old Al Horford, are you better than with Kuminga, Peyton, and Looney?
Every year is a new year. Even if the moves feel small, you're not necessarily, quote, running it back. But what if we did lean into that for a second and said, oh, gosh, the Warriors are running it back? First of all, I don't think that they've got an option to do much else. But is that so bad? Is it so bad for the Warriors to come back and largely look like they looked before? Because here's what, and I'm so glad we have 2 ears, because I hear different things with both of them. In the right ear, I've got, well, the Warriors were beating the Wolves if Steph didn't get hurt. Well, that means you think that they're a Western Conference Finals basketball team. But then the other ear is like, dude, you guys have got to get better. Which is it? Which is it?
Well, it's both.
How?
Because
like you were already pretty good. The best?
No, you were pretty good. You were one of the final 4 teams in the West, and
Maybe.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
No, you were one of the last 4 teams remaining. That's a fact.
In the West,
yes. And so, yeah, were you going to be good enough to beat Minnesota? We will never know. But now you don't have Kevon Looney, and he's not the most important guy. He's one of your top 8 or 9, and the rest of your core is a year older, and it's an older core. So you're asking those guys to come back and be as healthy and as good as they were for you. When Jimmy came, Steph was almost all health, and Draymond was healthy, and Jimmy and all the rest of it. And so it becomes tough to think about running it back and being able to duplicate what you did, especially when you won't have Kevon, and it looks like you might not have Gary Payton II. We don't know for sure yet. And so your depth looks like it's not going to be as good as it was, and your older guys are all a year older.
Yeah.
So it's harder to think about running it back and getting the same result.
What is the other option?
Well, there isn't one.
Okay.
And I've been saying this all along.
Yeah. Then
the other option is get something for Kuminga, get somebody in here in the mid-level.
That's what they're trying to do.
And hope to hell that your 2 second-rounders, that one of them can actually be, Pods-ish or TJD-ish.
Like, how would you feel? How would you feel if, and by the way, this is not, there's no reporting here. This is not what I'm kind of getting at.
No sauces?
Well, I don't listen, I'm no expert on every single dollar and how this all gets twisted and turned and spit out and all of that. But what if the Warriors found a taker for Kuminga and took a player back, and it wasn't like sexy, but it was, a contributing player.
Yeah.
And then they become a non-tax paying mid-level team. And then you've got that 14.1, which I believe, can you split it? Can you split that between 2 players? You're 14. If you have that mid-level exception, does it have to be 1 player? Can you split that sucker?
You don't have to use it all in one.
All right.
Yeah.
So, what if in some sort of a way you were able to trade Kuminga, bring back a productive player, and then use the mid-level money that you have to sort of do something that felt like Al Horford and DeAnthony Melton?
Yeah, right.
How you doing? You feel good?
I mean, you feel okay. You probably feel better than you do today, for sure.
To me, that's kind of the offseason that you're hoping for right now.
Which is sad but true. It's Metallica.
But why sad?
It's sad because you look around the league and you've got other teams that are, going kapow and getting a lot better. And I'm not delusional to think that you can do anything else, because when you've got a guy making the number 1 amount of money per year next year, Jimmy Butler is tied for 5th. So 2 of the top 5 in the association are on your team, and then Draymond makes 28. So I'm not under any false pretense that you can do anything else other than this. So when I look at what you might be able to do, if it's Kevon, Kuminga, and GP2 out, and it's, I don't know, let's just say Kobe White, because I'm kind of fascinated by that idea. He's making $12 million. He's a nice little guard.
I think you're aiming high, but yes, I'm with you. Okay.
I mean, if it's Kobe White and DeAnthony Melton coming off an ACL, and it's a 39-year-old Al Horford, are you better than with Kuminga, Peyton, and Looney?
I say yes. I would unequivocally say
yes-ish.
Yes.
I mean, I would say yes,
You're
maybe.
bringing in all 3 players who can shoot 3-pointers, and the 3 players who would be on the way out are one of them is an absolute no, one of them is only if he's in the corner, and one of them is, boy, he works on it really hard in the offseason, and sometimes he has a good night. That's how I would describe the three players you just proposed leaving.
You bring in a nice young player in White. Al Horford's 39, fingers crossed.
Yeah, but the floor spacer.
And DeAnthony Melton's coming off an ACL.
Yeah,
so
but fit perfectly when he was here.
For 11 games.
Yeah. I mean, like him.
Coming off a knee injury, it's a big question mark. So for me, I mean, what you're getting rid of is much more of a known than what you're getting back to me is more of an unknown. Are you better? I mean, I'm going to borrow from Steve Kerr and say, yeah, I do.
Do you think you're better?
I do.
Yeah, look, there's always going to be questions. There's always going to be questions. I just think that's the kind of offseason that we're looking at.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Flea in Oakland.
That's a 5.
Hi, Flea. What's going on? How are you?
What's going on, guys? I'm so upset about everybody wanting the Warriors to make some crazy trade man, we got Kuminga. Let's figure out a way to keep Kuminga. Hopefully, Post get better in this offseason. Hopefully, Jonathan Kuminga, say, you know what, let's run this back. Only thing we needed last season was Steph not getting hurt and a big man. Why is everybody up in arms like, oh, yeah, because everybody making trades and getting players, we need to just all of a sudden go find some diamond in the rough. We got guys. Post, he looked like he got great potential. He can shoot the three. Only thing he got to develop is somewhat of an inside game. He damn near 7 foot tall. We got guys that's already on the team. Kuminga is actually on the Warriors. Let's try to find some way to pay Kuminga. Let's try to find some way, Steve Kerr, to develop Post and get I forgot his name because I'm talking so much. Our point guard. What's his name?
Pods? You're talking about Podziemski?
Let's get Pods to be more. Pods need to be a little bit more consistent. Especially, we're going to be in the playoffs.
Yep.
He needs to be ready to go to deep waters and not be having these 3 and 4 games where he's scoring 3 and 5 points and step his game up. Post get better in the offseason. Hopefully, Steph Curry come back a little more healthy and not run him into the ground, Steve Kerr. And we'll be all right next season. Hopefully, we can Post can play like a post player, and we'll be good.
Flea, thank you very much. It's a good call. It's an optimistic call, but I think that this is the byproduct of you're coming out of a dynasty, and when you lose the last 4 games of your season and you bow out in the second round, you're going to have a fan base that screams and yells that, like, oh my God, wholesale changes are necessary. And A, they're not possible. And B, I think everybody's forgetting how good the Warriors were down the stretch. And the idea that Steph was overworked, in theory, should be mitigated by the fact that Butler's now here for the whole year.
Who would you rather be right now in this moment, the Warriors or the Celtics? Because the Celtics are making a clear-cut signal that not that they're going to tank, but they are shedding and shoring up and hoping that after 1 year, maybe they get a lucky draft pick and maybe they clear some space and they can try again in a year because they got rid of 2 of their top 4 players and they're in shed mode. And so, and they're hoping for a really, really good draft pick. It's going to be, Jaylen Brown. Right. Playing 1-on-5.
Yeah, that's it. And Derek White.
Yep.
Jaylen Brown and Derek White. That's the whole team.